Together with friends along the way, united with strength to face the day. We're together and now we're here to say, united we will be the change.
All right, good afternoon / early evening, everybody. Welcome to Above and Beyond the Accessibility and Inclusion, Day 5, 3 days later. How's everybody doing? We are back with our typical Monday live / our Day 5 of National Accessibility Week. And we are back doing the thing. You know, there was a lot of let's refer to them as hidden issues that both Maddie and I faced over the weekend. So we thought we would start
Yeah.
fresh with our Day 5, back to our Monday lives. How's everybody
Yeah.
doing?
I'm alive. Oh my god. So
Maddie, you got a story to tell.
Oh, I do. This has nothing to do with accessibility. This has to do with life
Common
in a wheelchair.
sense.
Oh my god. So when car, meets wheelchair, car wins. I was hit by a car Thursday evening. It was at an intersection. The car stopped. I thought then it saw me and I could then cross, but he was looking left and he didn't look right and thump, and that injured my left leg. It was very painful, and I have so many other issues. So when something happens, it spazzes everything else. So it's really hard to know where the issue is, what the pain is. But it was several hours at the hospital when the doctor said, "You just probably have contusions and bruises. Go home and rest and ice it," which I did. And over the weekend, I think it just physically wiped me out. I don't think emotionally. There was a lot of pain. I already had a small issue in my knee. It's just made it a lot worse. But here's the thing for everybody. Here's the thing to learn. One, look both ways before you go. Yes. Use your eyes, use your ears before you use your feet. Walk on. Sorry, that's something I had when I was 5 years old. I had to sing that on a radio show, and I got free McDonald's coupons. It was a Halloween, safety thing, and so I remember that. Stop, look, and listen before you use your feet. Use your eyes, use your ears before you use your feet. Walk on. And I still remember it today, 32 years later. 42 years later. Oh my God. So yeah, it's I did a podcast a couple weeks ago on in my other podcast, The Autistic Rambler, and we talked about unexpected changes and having to just deal with the change that you're not dealing it was thrown right at you, because life happens a lot, and it can be a struggle to accept it and then figure out what to do with it. So yeah, that's been me this last 4 or 5 days. I really wanted to, we were so close to doing everything, very close to the 5 o'clock time last week. And then I knew earlier on Friday that it was going to be a real challenge for me to do anything. I really couldn't. I couldn't speak. I was in so much pain.
What did anything happen with the driver? Did you talk to the driver at all?
Or no, he jumped out. He was everybody realized that what had happened is that because I go on the street and I'm not on the curb, as he approached the intersection to turn right, as he was approaching, there was nobody there. So he stops, looks left, and then goes. So yeah, he realized that that he just didn't see me, and he's the one that called for the ambulance. He's the one that
And you were on the road.
Got there. Yeah. I mean, I fortunately I wear a seatbelt in my wheelchair, so I wasn't thrown or anything like that. But I just was
jolted.
Oh, very much jolted. Yeah. So like this is the the part of life that because we're disabled, we tend to be put in places and things and whatnot, situations that is out of the norm for everybody else. So like me in the wheelchair, I sometimes I roll up to like this just happened at Shoppers yesterday. I rolled up to the pharmacy office and I waited there and I waited there and I waited there. I waited for about 3 minutes until somebody said, "Oh, I didn't see you there," because they just from where they are, they
The
have no
window,
ability.
yeah.
Yeah, they can see somebody standing up quite easily because it's at the same head view. And I'm like, yeah, this is kind of why we end up, why our lives are so much more dangerous, is because the world's not meant for us. And there's so many things that, the way we think and the way we do, especially for those of us who have hidden disabilities, I'm bringing this into the theme today. When the world isn't designed for the way that your body is or your mind is, you we tend to get ignored, we tend to get injured, we tend to get um, a lack of service. There's so many things that we need to push for accessibility in these areas that aren't the obvious visible things. Okay, good segue.
I mean, yeah, we tend to be oblivious to society. We tend to be eradicated, you know, almost rendering
Yeah,
ourselves obsolete from, society. And all we want to do is to belong. All we want to do is be able to live a quality of life like anybody else. A lot of the things those without disabilities take for granted are things that challenge us, things
yeah,
that we have to have and put more thought into. Some of the most basic things. Like just even like something like getting dressed in the morning can be a challenge.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah. Some days are
and
good, some days are
speaking
bad.
about right, and speaking about the hidden truth about disabilities too. Like I know this is not quite the topic that in the conversation that we had in mind, Maddie, but there are hidden truths when it comes to disabilities. There are hidden lacks of understanding when it comes to disability inclusion, and understanding that we're not looking for an advantage. We're looking for equity. We're looking for
Mhm.
an equal opportunity. And throughout my 43 years, a lot of what I've learned is that it's okay to be front and forward and speak your voice. Um, Even though, and I just made this up on the spot, Maddie, and I'll say this to you, and you give me your thoughts. But even some people tend to have SRS, selective response syndrome, and choose to
Hmm.
respond certain ways when it comes to particular issues, and not necessarily put the wholesome aspect of disability on their radar, and not and neglecting the idea, no pun intended, of lived experience and putting that on to the forefront of the conversation. Now,
Idea meaning inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. Just for those who are watching and listening that didn't get the reference that he was making.
yes, thank you. Good
You're
call there.
welcome.
Eh, see, this is why we work so well together. And
Yep, it's
Maddie,
great.
like,
That's the whole idea behind this podcast. But
right, Jekyll and Hyde. You guys can decide who's who. Um,
yeah.
so Maddie, like when we talk about hidden disabilities, we talk about the ones that exist that
Mm,
people don't see outside of the more often thought of as physical
yeah.
disabilities.
Mhm,
Things like ADD, ADHD,
yeah.
OCD,
Wh-
um,
Yeah. So
things that are hidden.
there's
Autism can even be considered a hidden
yeah,
disability. Or more likely it
and
is.
yeah, there's autism is definitely a hidden disability. I mean, the challenges that we have with sensory, and these are some things that we share with some of the other developmental disabilities and mental health conditions. Sensory challenges are the one of the biggest hidden disabilities that we experience, that simple small accommodations can go a long way. They're generally not expensive, but it's for me, sound is a huge thing. I Sound drives me as well as drives me crazy. If I'm going to have an autistic meltdown or shutdown, it's probably going to be around sound. For example, going into Walmart Christmas time, the jinga 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 jing of the Salvation Army folks, it just puts me down and I can't move. I to the point where I now cannot shop in Walmart except late in the evening during the Christmas time, because I can't handle it. The frequency of the noise just resonates, and I am completely useless to the point where even speaking is almost impossible. Um, so it's a hidden disability until it gets to be too much, and then um, the behavior, the meltdown, the whatever I
The
have, the
outward.
shutdown, then it becomes visible. But all of the stuff's going behind. Multiple. There's also multiple chemical sensitivities where there's so many environmental agents out there that the different scents, the different things that can significantly affect the lives of some people, to the point where going out is going out anywhere can be completely dangerous. I experienced a lot of that. There's like any kind of cleaning chemicals could just like I can completely get a reaction, and then I can't move. I could become almost catatonic. I can hear everything. I just can't speak. I can't think. I can't move until I'm out of that environment, and it's a horrible experience. But these are the kinds of things that are out there that are disabilities as well. But we tend to talk more about mobility disabilities. We tend to talk about sight and hearing disabilities, and because they're easier to understand, they're easier to see what the accommodations can be. I mean, we talk about the button to get into a building so much because and the parking space, because those are the most visible things. But having calm lighting, consistent lighting, having rooms where that are designed so that sound doesn't bounce everywhere. There's all kinds of things that we can do that will help all of the other hidden disabilities that are, again, there are quite clear ways to support us, but they're so less known to the public, and we just don't talk about it as much. But we gave it a whole day today. Hey.
Absolutely. And yeah, even in my case, I've got hydrocephalus. And we are in Hydrocephalus Awareness Month with June with spina bifida as well. Hydrocephalus translates to water on the brain, which, I have a shunt put in my body, which helps regulate the water flow and from one side of the body to the other. But and if anything happens to this shunt, it's not good. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of hidden disability that I have. So
Yeah.
it impacts me on a regular basis. I mean,
Yeah.
again, you guys can't see it, but it's there. It's
Yeah.
there. So
And there's also, there's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
yep.
There's a lot of things that relate to pain and things that you're not seeing, but the person's experiencing. Like, I'm experiencing pain at some high levels every second of my life. Sometimes it gets better, but it never. Sorry, sometimes it gets worse, but it never gets better from the baseline. And there's a lot of people that like that experience that, especially after spinal cord injuries. There's certain areas that have more significant nerve challenges, and moving around, doing things. I'm slower than I used to be.
Mm.
I can't do some things, even though my hands. Hi, look at my hands there. They look perfectly fine, but this one doesn't. Oh, I just did it again. Every time I talk with my hands, my camera decides, oh, there's something else to focus on.
Well, you should try being
Anyways, yeah,
Italian. I talk with my
I have
hands
a
all the
French
time.
background. No. I talk about like I got French Canadian background. Like that's how we think and talk. And
Mhm.
ever since my car accident, it's really challenging because one hand can do the talking without pain, but when I use this hand, the arm works, the hand doesn't, and it's constant challenge. And exactly like this is the hidden thing. The hand looks fine. I'm not in a sling, but it doesn't work. I can use my middle finger to ping down the shift key on a keyboard, but the hand doesn't work, and it looks fine. So one of the things that I think one of the things we really need to do as a society, and we've talked about this a lot on our lives here, is that we need to have a culture of accommodation. That when somebody says, "I have this need," we accept it. We don't try to pry into, well, what their disability is, what like, do they really have it, whatnot. They're if they're saying they have a need, just meet it. The the there isn't there We should not be required to give all of our health uh you know details out in order to get a challenge met. If the challenge is specific, then it doesn't really matter what the disability is behind it. If it's going to aid somebody, then do it. And what we find when we have that culture of accommodation, every accommodation we do actually accommodates far number more people than we actually ever expected. So many people do not have the faith, the trust to ask for accommodations. But when an accommodation is met and things are changed, there's there's other people that are going to they're going to benefit from that. And then that's where we see you put a little bit in, you invest a little bit in the people that you're working with, with your family, your relationships, and you're going to the effect of that is going to multiply far beyond whatever you thought that it would be.
Yeah, and then on the opposite end of the coin, there, it sends the message of when an accommodation is not met, that you don't belong here.
Yeah,
We're just trying to live our best lives, and Maddie and I both have really strong voices in our community and for the province as well. But it gets frustrating when it's met with backlash.
yeah,
I made a little tongue in cheek there when I said the response syndrome, selective response syndrome, because
mhm,
sometimes people tend to neglect or look at it from the investment perspective. There's always thoughts about the bottom line. How many people is it going to impact? And it's getting people to understand that accessibility benefits everybody.
yeah,
Because as we've talked about it time and time again, we're better for the economy if we're able to get from point A to point B on our time, not when
mhm.
transit dictates it for us. I was trying to, not say the T word today, but oops. Uh, but
Oops, I did
yeah,
it again.
okay, yep. So being part of the community, getting from point A to point
Yeah,
B, being shoppers, utilizing transit, utilizing different types of um, services in our community. It's a
yeah,
benefit for everybody when you include
yeah,
people with disabilities. And I had
yeah.
an interview last Friday, and I talked to one of my good friends, Julia Langley, that's based out in Alabama, and who was in Florida. But we talked about disability being an $11 billion market worldwide of untapped potential, untapped opportunity from the aspects of consumer, employment, uh, community. All of those together provide opportunity for everybody. Did I lose you, Maddie?
Nope, you did not lose me. You just caused me to do this.
Uh oh. Exactly. I'm sorry, you were on a different angle. I wasn't sure we were doing that.
Sorry,
Exactly.
okay. So I think my middle finger is infected. Yeah, it's gotten quite bad, and I can't use it. So I'm down to two fingers right now. And
Ah,
it's just so
all right.
awkward.
All right. Two digits McGee.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, when we can live in a world where we can all collectively prosper, excuse me, I
yeah,
think it's a benefit for everybody. And I it's overlooked and it's
yeah.
overshadowed.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
We
buddy.
need to level the playing field, so that we have opportunities. And we've talked this past, over the past 7 days now, um, different aspects of accessibility, different ways that we need to see the world. The world has, uh, gotten easier for us. There is more of a conscious acceptance of the fact that we need to break down barriers, that we need to improve the lives of people with disability, and that we need to be more accessible. Now we need to take that attitude and turn it into action. And every single person, whether you're disabled or not, um, we need to we need to be able to start shaping the world, um, with the eye of what's missing and how do we fix it. What supports are not there and how do we build it. Who are we not seeing participate. What part, of our communities demographics isn't, isn't at the table, isn't participating. How do we find them, and how do we find the accommodations that will let them be part of this? It's really, I mean, that's the whole concept behind idea. Inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility is to see beyond what you see and look for what's missing, look for what's hidden. you know
Well, further to that, Maddie, it's time to start treating people with disabilities like an asset rather than a liability.
yeah.
It's
And
the
yeah,
coddling that needs to be
I
eradicated.
think people as individuals are beginning to do that. It's institutions and systems that like, if they don't work well at all of the isms are a challenge to them, because the systems that we have, the we're seeing some changes, like we talk about all of the time. Our lovely relationship with the city of Toronto and their accessibility there, is a model forward. But in so many departments, ministries, transportation agencies, we see them stuck with how they've done things, and they don't seem to see the need to make the system changes that will make things better for everybody. So again, I have great hope, because I'm seeing more and more conversations with people, are like, oh, how do we do something different? How do we do what can I do to help you? Um,
Yeah, but
interestingly
it's
enough, so yeah,
without
it's got to roll up. Like, you as an ally need to figure out what you can do, but you got to influence these institutions, because if we don't get the institutional change, we're still floundering.
without us relinquishing control of our autonomy and agency too. For perception of weakness versus opportunity. Now, I'll give you an example, and I wasn't going to bring this up on this platform, but hey, it's transit, so why not? So I was on a paratransit vehicle, or sorry, accessible transit vehicle over the weekend, and the driver, very nice lady, is also the union steward and on the health and safety uh, team for the
Yep.
union. And we're having a let's call it a disagreement pertaining to my bundle buggy buddy. And I posed the question to her: in your opinion, is what your employer doing safe as the union steward, what are your comments? Her response, no comment. So it's on one hand, we're trying to appease the employer, but on the other hand, they know what's right. So
Yeah.
when is what's right not acceptable? I mean, I understand there's a heaviness going on, a case going on, but
Yeah.
this is about doing what's right, not just because it's a he said versus she said, or they said versus they said, but it's just doing what's right.
Yeah.
I've explained it at nauseum to the right people. I've demonstrated
Mhm.
it. I've shown them. People who are in the trenches with me understand. But when you're forced to comply with a rule that doesn't make sense, you're you're pitting people against their own morals and values, their
Mhm.
autonomy and their agency, and about doing what's right by the clients. And one client with a disability is one client with a disability. And this is what needs to be under. Thank you. I didn't mean to go off on the tone right now, but here I go. And this is
It's
mild.
Monday. Yeah.
It's
This is Monday.
it's a Monday. It's a Monday thing. So quite honestly, it's just a matter. Quite honestly, it's just a matter of doing what's right. And
Yeah.
it's about being proactive and persistent, because chances are you're not going to get through to people right away. You're going to have to consistently
Yeah. It's relationships.
move the needle forward. Yeah, and foster the relationship with them, have the
Mhm.
understanding, and then continue to push and push and push. And understand that you're pushing for the greater good of the community at large, not just yourself.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's what lacks the understanding, in as far as I'm concerned. Oh wow. Okay, I'm done. That was okay.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Well, you know
Okay, I'm good
what?
now.
It's about damn time.
Oh, I was gonna break out
It's
into song with that song. It's about damn
I
time.
know. Exactly.
Uh,
It's kind of why I
but
threw it there.
Maddie, it's Monday, and
Yes,
Above and
it's
Beyond
Monday.
TV is on 8:30 p.m. Cable 14 and
Yeah.
cable14.com. With President and CEO of Easter Seals Ontario, Kevin Collins. I am taping the final episode of season 4 this week, which is we're going to be having a one of the founders of one of the pharmacies, Hauser's Pharmacy, on it to talk about from the pharmaceutical perspective on ensuring we can get what we get when we need it, and kind of combating the system behind the needs of people with disabilities and so on and so forth. But I want to acknowledge something, Maddie, that is happening this week that I can't say too much about it, but Above and Beyond TV is nominated for an Impact Award here in Hamilton, and the awards are tomorrow night. So I won't be able to tell anybody the results of the event tomorrow night until they're made public. But just thank you, buddy, and thank you to everybody that's made Above and Beyond what it is and what it continues to grow to be. Because without the community, there is no Anthony. And talking about what you talked about at the beginning, Maddie, there's another A word that we missed. It's the importance of allyship.
Yeah.
Understanding the fact that when we work together, our collective senses can collectively prosper. And we need to be able to understand people from a differentiating point of view, and put our our thoughts and our words and our voice into action. So, this has been ongoing since 2018, Above and Beyond.
Mhm.
I've dedicated everything that I've done to my mother. And where the heck did you get that picture?
From Facebook.
You stole it from my
Just
my Facebook. I
I
see.
did.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
replays
I got
this
this
week.
here, and I also got this. Look at that. I thought,
Oh,
hey, I've been meaning to do this for a couple weeks. Like, I can just go dip while you're talking. There you go.
yeah. So we got the Impact Awards. on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I've got a PSW talk at Mohawk College with students. I'm attending the second series HSR Hamilton Street Railway bus collaboration. I want to see if this one was better than the first one because the first one wasn't that great. And then we've got the Concession Street Fest just to go out and have a little fun with the Hamilton folk and yeah, just be present and cultivating the change. So, how about
Yes.
you, Maddie? What's going on with you this week?
Well, there's I'm involved in a lot of research projects, which is really cool. And I'm involved in a lot of advocacy stuff and some big things that are happening in the autism sphere that hopefully will get gelled out over the next couple of months. But there are some big things that I've been working on that are going to start happening with my business, Autistic Bridge, as well as some changes that I'm going to be making to the Autistic Rambler. And I think that it's really my sort of goal this year. There's a lot of advocacy stuff that I'm doing in the wider disability rights and as you and I talk with all the time, especially in Ontario. But there's a lot of things that I'm doing are really in the autism sphere is trying to help parents how to improve they're challenged and there's not a lot of services available when they need them, and I want to find ways of being able to support them yeah, different sort of paths. So a lot of prep work for that, and I'm hoping by the end of the month we'll have some big announcements. But I'm involved in a lot of behind the scenes things, and I think that I'll be doing some more in front of the scenes. I'll be doing more outward stuff. I think starting in September,
which is exciting. And I'm always on board with your projects, and if I can do anything to help out, I'm there. And guys, this is live 5 and 8. So I mean, it took us 8 days to do our 5 lives, but we're back to our Monday lives. Don't forget to watch Above and Beyond on Cable 14 tonight at 8:30. If you like us,
there we go.
You like what we're talking about, send us an email to aboveandbeyondthepodcast@gmail.com, at aboveandbeyond.anthonyfrazina on Facebook, at abovebeyond4you, at Anthony_Frazina, at AnthonyFrazina.ca, at Matt J. Dever on Twitter, and AutisticRambler.com. You know what, Maddie? This has been another wonderful conversation with you, and I look forward to doing this, I guess, next Monday or Wednesday or We'll be back, guys.
We'll be back. Definitely back next Monday, and we'll go from there. So, but I think this is a great time for you to wrap it up, and I'm going to start the outro music, which is the same as our intro.
Well, okay. Well, then, thank you so much, Maddie, once again, and thank you guys for joining us, listening to us, hearing us, and we'll see you next time.
Together with friends along the way, united with strength to face the day. We're together.